Okay, here we have g of u equals the square root of 3 times u plus the square root of 7u. So what we want to do is separate the constants with the variables. So we can rewrite this function as the following. We have the square root of 3 times u plus this would be the square root of 7 times the square root of u. Okay, now if you wanted to, then we can go a little further. So we have the square root of 3u plus the square root of 7 times u to the 1/2. Okay, so now we can take the derivative of this function. So we have g prime of u, okay, which is going to equal the constant, which is the square root of 3, times the derivative with respect to u of the variable u, plus we have the square root of 7 times the derivative with respect to u of u to the 1/2. Okay, so now we're going to get the square root of 3. Now, when we take the derivative with respect to u of u, which is the variable, then that's going to give us the value of 1. Plus, we have the square root of 7. Okay, and we want to find the derivative with respect to u of u to the 1/2. So we have 1/2 times u to the 1/2 minus 1. Okay, so now we have the square root of 3 times 1, which is just 1, plus the square root of 7. Now we have that exponent, so we have 1/2 u to the 1/2 minus 2 over 2. And so that gives us the square root of 3 plus the square root of 7 times 1/2 u to the negative 1/2. Okay, and so now what we just do is just rewrite this using our negative exponent. So this is going to be square root of 3 plus the square root of 7 u to the negative 1/2 over 2. So that's one way to write that. Since we want this to be a positive exponent in a denominator, so we can go a little further and write this as the square root of 3 plus the square root of 7 over 2 u to the positive 1/2. And then what we would do is the following. We would write this as the square root of 3 plus the square root of 7 over 2 times the square root of u. And therefore that would represent the derivative of this function. Okay, here we want to differentiate the function. U is equal to the 7th root of t plus 6 times the square root of t to the 7th power. So the best thing here to do first is to rewrite this using fractional exponents. So we know that this is going to be t to the 1 over 7th power plus 6 times t to the 7 over 2. Okay, so now what we want to do is now we want to be able to find that derivative. So that means we want to find u prime. Okay, and we're going to find the derivative with respect to t. So this is going to be the derivative with respect to t of t to the 1/7 plus 6 times the derivative with respect to t of t to the 7 over 2. Okay, so now let's go ahead and find a derivative. We're going to use the power rule for the first one, so that means we're going to get 1/7 times t to the 1/7 minus 1, and minus 1 is the same thing as minus 7 over 7, plus 6 times we have 7 over 2 t to the 7 over 2 minus 1, which would be 2 over 2. And so now we get 1/7 t to the negative 6 over 7 plus over here we can simplify this 6 into 2. So the 2 can go into 6 3 times. And so we know that 3 times 7 is going to give us 21. And this is going to be t to the 5 over 2. So this is going to be the derivative of this function. Now we can rewrite this in another way. So there's 3 ways to write this. So, or we can write this as 1 over 7t to the positive 6 over 7 plus 21t to the 5 over 2. Now, if we want to write this as going back, because if you look at the original question, we have radicals there, so we want to make it into radical form. So this would be 1 over 7 times the 7th root of t to the 6th plus 21 times the square root of t to the 5th power. So again, we want to make sure that we know how to write this in all these 3 different ways, and then since it starts out in radical form, then you probably want to finish this in radical form. But these are all the derivative of that function.